In this video, I'm going to show you how to debug in FlutterFlow. So in this application here, I'm trying to get all the restaurants in Google Map from the Google Map API to my Firebase database. And I will fetch 60 records that will be saved on Firebase. I already saved the 60 records according to these parameters from Google Nearby API search. So I have a location of like Stockholm City Hall, and then I want to get initially is rank by. So from Stockholm City Hall, I want to get all the restaurants from this particular pond in a list of 60 results, and they are ranked by the distance of how far it is from the Stockholm City Hall here. And I already have these 60 results in my Firebase database, and now I want to create or call 60 more results from Google Map API according to another parameter. And then in this application here, it will check whether the record already exists on Firebase. If not, then it will create the restaurant on Firebase. Otherwise, it wouldn't create a duplicated restaurant on Firebase. I will change to radius now. And then string is, let's say, 50,000. So I will run this application, which I have already run it here. And then when I click fetch, okay, so after it has run all the code, then here you can see all the history from this action that I've done just now. So all the restaurants that were added, and you can see that in some of the API call, it says no need to update Firebase because the restaurant already exists in my original Firebase, so I don't want a duplicated restaurant there. Okay, so how did I do it? So first of all, I will set some debug marker in between different steps that might have an error. For example, I want to know, because in the API, it will call the first time, which will get 20 results from Google. And then the second time and the third time, I will be using something called next page token to get the remaining result. So in total there are 3 batches, and each batch has 20 results. So I want to know which batch might have an error. So before I add the restaurant to the Firebase, I will set a counter of which batch is it, and then I just define the variable here. It's a counter with integer, and then set the variable here, like increase by 1 because it's the first batch that I'm calling from Google API. And then whenever it tries to add a restaurant, for example here, it after all the investigation of whether the restaurant already exists on Firebase. If it does not, then I create a restaurant and try to get all the name and details from Google API. So after this action has been done, I add a marker, which is a list of string that I defined the variable here previously. It's called debug added to Firebase. And it's a list of string because it will run through all my Firebase data and also the data from Google Map API. So I have to store each and every time when it tries to add a record to Firebase. So I will write down, so first of all, I will add this to the list. Which batch is it? Which restaurant is it? And then it's added to Firebase. And if there's no need to add it to Firebase, then I will also add a string called in batch number blah blah blah. No need to add update Firebase because the record or the restaurant already exists on Firebase. And I do the same when I'm using next page token to call the remaining 40 restaurants. And also, since I'm dealing with a large amount of data, so it's always good to have something like alert dialog, which I mostly use informational dialog. And then say that after all the loop has been done, it say completed. And yeah, and then sometimes I use informational dialog. Sometimes I use a snackbar. For example, if I inside the loop, if I want to detect something. Okay, so let's say here I want to show a snackbar and say combine test in batch number, so in batch number 2 or 3, restaurant is added to Firebase. So just a simple message that show that the application is running, because sometimes it takes a long time for all the code to finish, and then you don't know if it get paused somewhere else, like at which point the code didn't execute as you wanted. Then using this snackbar or informational dialog, then you can find out at which point it stopped working. To summarize, use snackbar or informational dialog to set checkpoint in the flow, so they can detect where in the code it is currently running now. And for debugging loops, use a variable called counter to detect which loop it is currently executing now. There will be a lot of try and error in order to find out where the bug is, but I guess these tips will help in the process. So that's it. Thank you very much for watching this video.